right. Well, it looks like you got an 8-hour agenda to meet.
Yeah, we got 8 hours worth of content. We could fulfill it.
And CES starts tomorrow.
Yes, CES starts tomorrow. Isn't that the best part? I'm leaving tomorrow.
Are you?
It's the best time to leave.
Did you drive?
No, I flew.
Oh, okay.
Took a Delta flight.
His arms are real tired.
I thought about driving because given like
Same
how
length
early you
of
have to
time.
show up for security and how long it takes to get from the airport, like I just wanted to have the time to be able to work. I mean,
Yeah, it's not dead time.
Yeah.
It's useful time in between. Well, I guess there's a little bit.
Let me ask you this. If the car could drive itself, would you have reconsidered? Like it would just self-drive?
Oh yeah,
Heartbeat.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Oh, yeah, from LA. It's 4 hours.
If the car could drive itself, I would have absolutely done the drive because the key is like it can take me door to door. I walk out of my door, get in the car, it drops me off at Mandalay Bay, boom.
Right. Instead of get to the airport an hour and a half ahead of time.
Yeah.
Takes you a half hour to get there. You've lost 2 hours already. You aren't on the plane yet.
Yep.
Does DTNS have you don't have a Twitter account called DTNS?
Yeah, Daily Tech News.
Hopefully I can find
Did you come
it.
up with that
There's
yourself?
the character limit.
There it is.
Nice.
I think
Do you have
if I
Raj's
remember
Twitter
right,
handle?
somebody made it for me and then gave me the keys. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Yeah,
What's your Twitter handle?
This is Raj, D-E-U-T.
R
R-A-J, D-E-U-T. D-E-U-T, yeah. That's my
Australian?
Yeah.
You sound a lot like Shy. Shy Yamini is a friend of ours. It's from Australia.
Yeah.
Voice accent's the same. How's that Wi-Fi working for you?
Cylinders. What are the cylinders? Oh, interesting.
TweetDeck does this every day.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you just went
Oh,
to
no, I was knocking on wood, Steve. Sorry.
Steve's our doorman.
You're on it, man. That's
He
awesome.
is.
All right.
Maybe they need to keep. Maybe they need to drive those down into the ground pilings,
All right.
or just signage, or a giant sign.
So what does it mean to go to... Oh, the 50 states made sense. What was the other one? He wanted to join the government?
He has applied for permission to the board to be able to take a government job. That was back in December. That's actually old news, but just in the light of this.
You got two of them. I don't know if they're...
Yeah, the other one's a fan run one. Daily Tech _ show. Daily Tech News Shush is mine.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
I should list not Patrick and
Need this Amazon stuff.
And, Snubs.
is it
Wait, no, it's not Patrick.
What Amazon stuff?
It's Patrick Norton.
Oh, there's just a lot of stuff
Well, he's not here yet. Just
in the last few minutes.
you can
people
take another
talking
one
about.
later.
Seems like they want to become the operating system for the home.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's like a think piece, right?
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
we've kind of talked about that before. It didn't feel like news to me, but
I don't think it is either. It's just
Okay.
that the new partners and stuff seem kind of like a big deal, but it just
Yeah.
goes along with what we already said, or what you've been saying for months.
who are the partners?
Yeah. I'm looking. Hold on.
Wait, where's that echo coming from?
I don't know. Let's see. 4K TV, Chinese 4K TV builder. Doesn't say the name.
It's really noticeable now.
You're hearing a lot of echo?
Yeah, like more so than before.
Did that change anything? I just moved the other mic.
Oh,
No.
That did not change it.
Maybe it did.
yeah, it's better.
Yeah, I think it was just closer to the Tom speakers or something.
Check and see if Shannon is there. She says she's here.
No, Tom, you're right. It's more think PC.
Okay.
It's interesting because it feels like
Don't let me
confirmation
touch
of
anything. I turned Wi-Fi
being
off.
on
So
DTNS
that
for a
it'll
while.
just stay and stop
We're live.
erroring out.
We haven't started the show, but we're live.
Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Hi.
We met once up at the Twit Brick House. Nice to see you.
So, were you at the conferences? No. The press conferences? No. Okay.
I know most of what's going on now.
Cool. We're going to do it in shifts. Raj and Allison will do the top stories section.
Okay.
And then if Patrick shows up, you and Patrick will do the press conference section, LG, Hisense, and Panasonic.
Okay.
And you can always yell things from the peanut gallery at any moment.
So at one point you'll just poke us and say leave.
Yeah, I'll probably do it better than that, I hope. Hey, leave.
Get out of here! You bother me.
So is this good now, or does it need to stay here?
I think it was just pointed towards the other mics. I think it was pointed this way. Was the only problem.
Yeah,
you wanna
point it
scooch
back
in?
towards you at all times, and I think that'll keep it.
All right, nice and cozy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bounce.
That Shannon I see in the left with the white pants and dark top.
Yeah, that's me.
Nah.
Oh wow, how wide is that? Oh, Steve, you're live. You're live now. Say hi, Steve.
Photobomb from Steve.
You're being your photo. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, how are you seeing Shannon, Roger?
She was there. She's very elusive. Right there. You see her? See half her?
Oh. Just your right leg.
It's her left leg, right?
Oh, I don't know. It's her left leg, right?
I did the coordinate transformation. I thought it was all of her leg. She says.
Oh.
What is that?
Can't get into chat.
Ooh,
That's that's interesting.
why is that?
Uh,
I didn't even think about getting into chat. No, I told you to tell me not to touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Because I'm just gonna go off this. I'm not gonna try to hit the links or anything. Yeah, I did for my watch. I think.
10 more minutes.
Woohoo!
We're closing in on it, man.
So you going to any of the other events tonight, like the
I'm going to
The-
Digital Experience.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
AKA Pepcom.
Pepcom?
Yep.
Pepcom's fun. I like that. We did. What was the early one yesterday? It's a lot of
CES
people.
Unveiled?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I
how
was
we
there.
Connected. Yeah, that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was a
There were
crush. Of
there were all
humanity.
kinds of people who were there that I didn't see, like yourself. Anthony Carboni apparently was
Oh, he
there
was.
at one point. Yeah.
I saw Brian Tong.
Yeah, I saw Brian.
I was interviewing the global head of PR for Belkin, and he runs up and goes, "We went to high school together," and gives her a big hug and runs away. Apparently, it was true. He wasn't making that up. Tried to get some dirt on him, but she had nothing.
Well, that was the first probe. I did Facebook live stream, and as I was walking,
Oh.
I kept running into people wanting to talk to them, but it's like holding the phone down at the side while I talk to a friend is a very interesting Facebook live stream. So I stopped. I'm like, I'm just going to stop streaming. So I did a part 1 and a part 2.
Oh, that's a good idea. I haven't done a lot of Facebook Lives. I did one when I was running. I use the term loosely. Speed walking 10K at Disneyland. That was fun.
I thought when you said running, you were going to say a department at your former
Oh.
job or something. So when you changed it to speed walking, I'm like, well, that's an interesting way around it.
Speed walking
I
my
was
job.
Speed walking my department.
Yeah. No, and Facebooking from a government company is.
Yeah.
They don't like that. That
No?
much.
Not
no.
big into that?
No, they're kind of
That's-
funny.
well,
I just realized if I turn to talk to you, it's probably bad mic control. I have to just keep going this way. Just look at you, lurk with my eyes.
How's it sound, Roger? When she turns.
Like if I go like
Raj,
that, is it-
can you say a few words?
Hello, how are you?
He's
I'm well.
pretty low compared to you two.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just because
Talk
Raj
some
is.
more, Raj.
Hello? I'd like to talk louder this time, please.
That's
Louder?
good, but he is getting looped back in through your speakers or something because I hear an echo.
just on that one?
There should not be an echo from him because there's no live speaker of us talking.
All right, Raj, say a few words more.
Hi, Roger. How are you? Where are you?
Do you hear that? Just a slight reverberation.
It's
Oh,
not
Scott.
an echo, more like he's in a
Hollow.
tunnel. Yeah,
Yeah.
These mics have different delays.
it's not terrible.
Shouldn't.
Oh, you know what? You might be. Maybe your audio's also being picked up. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's not.
I mean, it's definitely being picked up by the other mics, but
yeah.
I could
They
just,
should be in phase.
I could just
Hold on.
stand and like.
Everybody quiet for a sec.
He sounds like the voice of God.
Everybody quiet for a sec. Oh yeah. There is like a hall echo.
Yeah, a hall, like a hall.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick Norton's here.
Patrick Norton's here.
We're live, but we haven't started the show yet. Okay.
We've been all doing that.
Can
It's
you
popular
explain
room.
the dance to Patrick?
My dance?
Yeah, yeah.
Cavalcading, rotating.
You're doing
Oh,
the press
yeah.
conference.
We're gonna do 2 in, 2 out though.
It's all good. This view is insane. Yeah.
Okay.
Audio is hard.
Scott and I.
Yeah, just flush the toilet before 1. Because it's loud.
Yeah, it's like a jet engine. This place.
Yeah.
The suction
Yeah,
on
no
it.
more going potty after 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Smell it from here.
Ew. Meant the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I don't know why we're getting that.
I wonder if it's just because it's the other mics.
Well,
Let me see Raj talk again.
Do you want me to talk away from here, like over here?
no, I don't
Is
think
it
that's
same?
it. I think it's an effect in the
mixer itself?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like when I just checked it.
You could switch our mics and find out if it happened to me. But then we would still not be able to do anything about it.
But Allison sounds fine.
Okay.
I like having effects on my voice.
Wait, maybe it's just Raj. Raj
It-
speaking
it's just
to
Raj.
Allison.
It could be.
line.
It could be my
Reverb,
voice.
reverb, reverb.
Yeah.
Why?
Wait, here, let's try it. What if I talk in his mic?
Yeah, you do that. Do that again. It actually wasn't that bad.
Okay, this is Allison talking out of Raj's mic.
No,
That's-
you have a slight echo.
Still has
I was gonna say,
the.
Raj has an echo in real life.
Echo,
so
echo.
that's-
I like to talk.
It's like you're literally announcing everything through an empty stadium.
Yeah. Or like you're calling down. You're trying to save me. I fell in a well, and you're trying to save me.
Okay, Raj, talk.
So much pressure to talk
Sorry,
when you say that.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah, that's
So
better.
it is the mixer then.
So it's this pot.
This pot.
Yeah, I don't know.
With the
I don't know.
pan.
Yeah. There's something on that.
Ominous
line.
pot.
So I'm good now. I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Should we go ahead and do a show?
I've always wanted to say hi to Patrick Norton. Hi, Patrick Norton. I'm Allison Sheridan. We've never met. Been a
Documented
fan
live.
for years.
Oh, I see the paw of Patrick Norton swinging the feet. I'll need control at some point.
Ah, yes. Control.
Such a control freak. Yeah, I heard it.
All right, hold on. My laptop's locking up.
Tom, while he's doing that, you're gonna when you start, you're gonna do the intro, or are we doing a pre-recorded?
No. I'll. Why don't? Yeah, I'll do the intro. That'll
Okay.
just make it easier.
Uh-oh. My laptop locked up.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hear us?
Something
My
good references
laptop
on
is...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, just close, you piece of junk.
Yeah, everything's working fine. I
Except-
can see you. I can hear you.
No, I can't do anything now.
We can look at these.
Do you need
Now
to
I gotta
reboot or
spend
something?
another 10 minutes reopening all these
We're
tabs.
talking too much.
Ah, now your video finally froze.
Monkey uncle.
Yeah, you're gone. Your video's gone.
Son of a biscuit.
You just want to reboot, Roger?
Rebooting.
Okay. Roger will be back shortly.
Reboot in progress.
We will await him.
Do we sing in the meantime? What do we
Yes.
do?
That is always.
Some enchanted
You have to
evening.
summon Roger with a song.
Play a flute.
Yeah.
You used to play the flute.
No, I wasn't a flautist. I was a pianist.
Ah,
Badly. Very bad pianist.
I call that a piano player.
Yeah.
And a pianist is somebody who can actually do it.
People always mishear that.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Quite frequently unintentionally.
I did do a little double take when he said it.
Why are you discussing? What?
Piano players.
Yeah, exactly.
No confusion.
So we're not, excuse me, lightning round. We're just going through. Right,
Lightning round is just me
just
and Scott.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, we're gonna try to
Yeah.
we're gonna try to set the world record for the most amount of CES announcements in the shortest amount of
I think
time.
there's 19 or so. Oh no, it starts at 9. Those are good ones though. I went
Yeah.
wow after a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. And part
2
of the
terabyte
problem
flash
is
drive.
we did the show early yesterday, so a few things that normally would have gone in the 1:30 show didn't make it.
Just in case I came prepared with some stuff that I saw, just in case that was one of the questions, because I wasn't sure what we were doing. My stuff's really obscure.
Oh, what'd you
Really obscure.
Like what?
Like there's a thing called an acoustic. What was the company? Acoustic something. It has a K in it. It's a panel of like 160 acoustic arts. 160
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
little parabolic speakers that they're doing basically like a phased array, and they can focus the audio directly at you. So think about like you're in the hospital and you want to watch TV, but the guy next to you doesn't want to watch TV. You're the only one who'd be able to
Gotcha.
hear anything.
Ooh, I'm into that.
Yeah. They're going to have to work with OEMs and such. So
I'll throw maybe before we get into the press conferences, I'll throw to each of you, Raj, if you have something too.
Okay, let me think
Like,
of something.
of the thing you saw, and then Patrick and Shannon will do the same after.
The thing. What
Yeah.
the hair regrowth snake oil? Like,
Nice.
no- yeah.
I love it.
I can't remember who
Hair
it was,
regrowth.
but- Yeah. You know,
first the pianists. And
Yeah,
then,
the hair
then you're gonna
regrowth.
talk about that.
First,
Yeah.
they came for the pianists, and I said nothing.
I like the 7 hugs.
That looks interesting. I want to see
Yeah.
how well that really works. But
So it's
Yeah.
a smart remote from a French /
it's got
San
positional
Francisco company.
tracking so that you can set it up. Their big wow moment is you point it at the door and it'll call an Uber for you.
Yeah. Or
So
you,
they can have all of the complications Samsung had trying to promote the simple functions on the television, integrating it with the Internet of Things. So every time your 4-year-old goes like this, he or she will, you call another Uber to your house.
Yeah.
This sounds really well.
Sorry, Joe. That was my son.
I suspect there are no one with children.
You
No.
do have to confirm it on
Yeah,
the vote,
yeah.
but that's not to say that certain people's children can't be smart enough to figure that part out too. I did it again, haha.
Let me guess, you bought
All
a
right,
lot of
Roger's
stuff on
back.
your dash.
Sorry.
A lot of Tide showing up.
Really killing my laptop.
Okay, all right.
I will see if. Wait, I can't even disappear myself. Oh, there we go. That should be better.
And do you still have control?
Let's see. Yeah.
Hello, Roger. Yes, you do.
Yes,
all
I
right,
have control.
Scott, are you ready?
I'm so ready. I am ridiculous amounts of ready.
How about? So, what are you ready? What are you ready to play first? Just the theme music?
Yeah, so when you've done your read, you're going to do your little Patreon read, right?
Yeah.
And then this will be how loud it is. Then I'll immediately go down
Yeah.
there.
Perfect.
And then it should record everywhere, including my backup just fine.
All right, and I'm recording audio too, so we'll have redundancy.
Okay.
All right. Here
Then when you want this, you just sort of cue it, and I'll play it.
Yep. I'll say top stories and then. All right. 3, 2. The Daily Tech News Show is powered by its audience. To find out more, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, January 4th, 2017. I'm Tom Merritt, and we are at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've got Allison Sheridan, Raj Diyut. You can't see them, but over there are Shannon Morse and Patrick Norton waiting in the rings. Even SP Sheridan's lurking over there in the corner as well, because we've got all the news. They announced all the news today.
It's all done.
So Allison and Raj are going to talk about some of the top stories, a couple that aren't even from CES. Then Shannon and Patrick are going to come in. We're going to talk about the LG, Panasonic, and Hisense press conferences. But before all of that, Scott Johnson, my co-host, is not in Las Vegas. You're in Salt Lake City. How are you doing, Scott?
Fine. It's 11 degrees, so how much better could it be? It's nice.
Well, let's warm you up with a lightning round of CES news. There's so much. We kind of want to give you the impression of what it's like to be at CES by overloading you with announcements. Scott and I are going to attempt to set the world record for most CES headlines in the least amount of time. Are you ready, Scott?
I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get back to the top of my dock. Garmin announced the Phoenix 5 5S watches for $599 and a 5X watch for $699 for monitoring multiple sports. That's things like hiking, swimming, cycling, and including U.S. topo maps on the 5X. They arrive in Q1.
Those cost too much. Kingston Data Traveler Ultimate GT, the world's highest capacity USB 3.0 flash drive, has 2 terabyte in zinc alloy case. That comes out in February. There is no price yet.
Give me one now.
Samsung announced the Q7, Q8, and Q9 QLED TVs with a claim of 100% color volume and compatibility with the Samsung Smart View app for casting video from phones and tablets.
No comment. The 7Hug smart remote can control 25,000 different connected devices, including thermostats, lights, and speakers. Why, it sounds like the Internet of Things to me. And even order an Uber by pointing it at your front door. Pre-order now for $229 or $300 at retail later this year.
What could go wrong? Colibri announced the Aura toothbrush with embedded AI that analyzes how long you brush and what teeth you hit and sends you an analysis once a week. You can pre-order for $80, $130 at retail in March.
I don't need yet another device telling me how terrible I am at something. Withings and L'Oreal, have a Wi-Fi.
L'Oreal. Have you never seen a shampoo commercial, Pat? Come on.
L'Oreal. Well, I avoid those. I've told you about this. Anyway, you have a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth hairbrush with accelerometer and gyroscope to track how much you brush your hair, how hard and how much hair breakage you inflict. It's around $200 shipping, and that happens mid-2017.
No, they're not putting too many smart things into everything. I don't think that at all. Symantec introduced the Norton Core router that gets regular updates on cybercrime protection and can isolate infected devices with reports on blocked threats and a safety score. You can pre-order for $200, including 1-year service, $280 at retail, though no release date, and it comes in titanium, gold, or gray.
Didn't Shannon ask for this in the prediction show?
Maybe.
There are many things that Shannon asked for in the prediction show that are announced at CES. I think she had inside knowledge.
I'm just glad you have a Norton news while Patrick Norton is in his house. Next up, where was I? Yahweh announced a 5.5-inch Honor 6X. It's now available in Europe and the U.S. for 225 euros. That is $250 U.S. in gray, gold, and silver.
Intel announced its first 5G modem meant to help companies test 5G devices. Qualcomm is already testing 5G modems with AT&T.
Nice. And I also screwed up the notes, so I'm feeling pretty good about this so far. Where the crap am I? Here it is. How about this one? TCL is showing off a prototype of the first phone it will make under the BlackBerry name. It's a touchscreen Android phone with a QWERTY keyboard. It's codenamed Mercury. Is not the final name, but is expected to go on sale in February.
Comcast demoed its Xfinity Advanced Gateway system that does mesh Wi-Fi coverage and integrates with voice and TV on Xfinity X1 set-top boxes.
What's the cap on that, I wonder? All right, TCL also announced 25 new Roku 4K TVs, starting with the 50-inch P-Series TV for $500. That's pretty cheap. They support Dolby Vision and HDR10. Has support for, whoa, that moved around real quick. There we go. They support Dolby Vision and HDR10, and the C-Series has HDR dynamic contrast.
Telegram announced a new feature that lets you delete a message up to 48 hours after you send it.
Oh. Great. Instagram or Snapchatting our life away. TLC is showing a prototype of the first phone that will make. Nope, I already read that one.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You read a different TCL one.
Oh, here it is again. They're showing off a prototype of the first phone that will make under the BlackBerry name. It's a touchscreen Android phone with a QWERTY keyboard. Its code name is Mercury. I swear I read this before.
Sure. Oh, you did? No, read the other one then. Line 21.
TCL also announced that 25 new Roku TVs was also read.
Definitely did that.
I read both of those.
All right, and then Asus ZenFone AR that we got leaked earlier this week got released with depth sensing Project Tango built in. It's compatible with Google's Daydream VR as expected. Coming in Q2, no price announced.
Don't walk into walls. And while everyone was focused on CES, Medium laid off 50 non-engineering employees and shut down its New York and DC offices as part of a focus on quality overreach.
And the one thing that got deleted somehow was Alarm.com with a new security system that will send a swarm of small quadcopters to whatever it senses, whether it's a break-in or a water leak.
Oh,
that was a cool one.
We nailed it.
Yeah. So that happened at CES today. Wow. Now, Scott, it's time for the top stories.
Oh, wrong one. There you go.
Mark Zuckerberg announced his personal challenge for 2017 will be to visit and meet with people in all 50 states in the United States. He wants to talk to people about, quote, how they're living, working, and thinking about the future. TechCrunch notes that Zuckerberg filed documents asking the board of Facebook to allow him to work in government without releasing control of Facebook. That happened last December. And a 50-state tour certainly sounds a bit like a campaign.
Yeah, it really sounds like something politicians should do. Go talk to everybody in every state and find out what they're doing.
Maybe Zuckerberg will have little Zucker rallies.
It sounds like something politicians should do, but is it something Zuckerberg should do?
If he's going to become a politician,
Well,
maybe. Like, you know what? It's easy to mock, but Facebook has become the place everyone points to when something goes wrong. And so, if you're Mark Zuckerberg, getting out and actually talking to real people in real life and trying to get a sense of how they use it and what their concerns are isn't such a bad thing, is it?
But doesn't his Christmas Jarvis video sort of disassociate him with the common person?
You're pointing out why he needs to go out and meet people. Then.
Clearly.
Well, just to go out and find out how many people actually have Wi-Fi everywhere they are, things like that. I mean, I think we always talk about, well, he's going to do balloons or something. He's gonna, do it in India.
But
But he thinks everybody has Wi-Fi. The company I worked for, we didn't have Wi-Fi. All day long, I didn't have Wi-Fi. Didn't exist.
Yeah.
So
He'll find out if he goes to places in southern Illinois and North Dakota that the not even just Wi-Fi, but the cellular coverage isn't consistent across the country.
Sure,
Tom,
sure.
I have a thought on this, and this is I'm keeping politics out of this. But when I was 8 years old, my dad told me, "Son, anybody can be president if they want to." And this year we kind of learned that, and so because we've learned that, doesn't it make sense? And again, this is a little bit of a I'm predicting here. But it seems like some people may see the recent election and say, oh, okay, well, you don't have to be a career politician. You don't necessarily have to be in politics your entire life to get that job. And experience is liquid. We can kind of figure out, what experience applies to what. So why not some of our tech leaders planning now for 8 years from now to maybe enter that race? I don't think that sounds that crazy in light of recent events.
Yeah.
The way you describe it, that sounds kind of intelligent there.
It's a plan, unlike Kanye's.
And now we have to give equal time to whoever runs against Kanye. Who's
But that's my point. Like, there's an opportunity here for people of industry, people in other parts of the world or other parts of, when I say the world, of the citizenry, to look at who they are, what influence they have, and think about what they want to see for the future. I'm guessing Zuckerberg's one of those guys that would love to see a certain kind of future, and maybe he has ideas on how to achieve that or find a base for that. And so why not? I mean, it may be a way far off thing. He's very young. He would be the youngest candidate even in 4 years to run for president, I think, on record that I know of. So who knows? Maybe it's unlikely in a lot of ways, but I feel like in light of what is possible, perhaps something like that might be in his plans.
Would be interesting to have a technologist in charge of the country.
Yep.
I have lots of thoughts on that. Let's wait until that happens before we go down
save that for a special DTNS.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we'll have an actor in charge.
That's right.
Done.
Osterhut Design Group, aka ODG, announced its first two consumer augmented reality glasses, the R8 and R9. The R9 is aimed at light enterprise and prosumer users with 50-degree field of viewing. This ships Q2 for $1,799. The R aimed at entertainment, or excuse me, the R9 it looks like aimed at entertainment.
R8.
Uses like movies and gaming. That thing's going to sell for $1,000, and that's going to ship second half of 2017. Both these glasses run Android on the Snapdragon 835 chip. 21st Century Fox is working with VR firm OTOY and AR platform maker PTC to create content for the glasses. So I, for one, am happy to see a content arm moving right along with this plan.
ODG's been around for a while. They've been around since, I think, 99. They usually do big business, military, governmental sort of stuff. And so this is interesting to see them noticing spectacles and Google Glass kind of failing and saying, hey, we think we can do that.
So what are they talking about, though, if they're talking augmented reality but then movies? I mean, am I going to be watching a Western with John Wayne and Steve walks into the movie?
Well, the augmented reality isn't the movies. You can do both.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, there'll be augmented reality applications, but on that consumer level one. So they've got the two, right? The R9 is the light enterprise prosumer one. On the consumer one, they're really pushing the hey, you can watch a movie on your face.
I still don't buy it, Tom. I know I say it every time
You're
I'm
not
on the
gonna
show.
buy it. I know, especially at $1,000, right?
I've got two things. One, Scott can pronounce Osterhut, but not L'Oreal, which is incredible. And two, I think this validates Tim Cook's sort of predictions a little bit. I mean, this is using Android, so it's not really what he wants, but that is where he's constantly said VR or AR is going to be for Apple, is in this augmented reality space. So if these guys can come out and actually sell one, unlike the HoloLens, which is what, $3,500 for a dev kit or something like that at the moment, but does a lot more, I guess. It'll be interesting to see how this goes in the marketplace and whether it sort of lays the way for what Apple are betting on, I guess, at the moment, or reportedly betting on.
I don't want to think tank the rest of the industry into the ground here, but I have an idea that I think they can go ahead and steal and make and show it at next CES. And here's what it needs to be. And this maybe will, Allison, this is maybe your way in, okay? Imagine that you're able to watch a film and your augmented device, your whatever it is you're wearing to create augmented layers on top of things, will see through eye tracking that you're looking at a particular actor, and you may decide through a blink of an eye or something to pause the film, have it sort of zoom in on the caption of that photo, and then lay out a bunch of information, other movies they're in, when they passed away, or how old is this movie, or when was their first big break in Hollywood, or whatever. Kind of what Amazon does now with pausing the screen when you're watching Prime videos and on a tablet or whatever, or on a desktop. Like those kinds of applications, I don't ever hear anybody talking about, and those are really interesting to me in light of the fact that this is consumer focused. That's a very consumer friendly, cool thing I would love to do one day.
I guess I still get into the thing with movies, though, is that means it's an isolated experience. I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm not going to talk to anybody else in the family. Nobody else. I mean, we might watch the same movie at the same time, but if I
it's for
blink to
those
see it-
cases, right? When you go to the movies at the theater, you don't talk to people. So now
Right.
you can get a movie theater experience at your house without having to leave.
But we're sharing an experience there. We're all laughing at the jokes together.
You need to
We're-
buy multiple glasses.
It's 3D TVs
And
all over
everybody,
again.
I paused to figure out who that guy is, and Steve's like, "Come on, I just want to see what's
there's
going on in the
yeah.
movie."
No,
Yeah.
this is for not that you're describing the use case. This is not for.
Okay. Maybe I'm too social.
Yeah, you have too many
I'm gonna
friends.
sit alone in my basement and watch
now you're
movies.
getting it.
Okay, all right.
Faraday Future unveiled its FF91 prototype at CES. That's a car, if you haven't been following things. It features a futuristic hatchback design, most notably a 130 kilowatt-hour battery, good for 378 miles of range. The FF91 has a 0 to 60 time of 2.39 seconds, which they made a big deal of how that was faster than Tesla. Prototype features a pop-up LiDAR sensor in the hood for limited self-driving capabilities, cameras in the B-pillars to recognize approaching passengers and open the doors, a variety of luxury amenities for passengers. Press were able to take a test ride, although the automatic parking feature failed in the demo. It failed the first time. It was classic CES demo fail. It did work on the second try. Consumers can put a $5,000 deposit down to reserve a place in line for production units, but the prototype demoed will not be the finalized vehicle. So you're putting a deposit down on something you don't know exactly what you're getting at. Or if the company will survive.
Steve and I got to drive the Tesla Roadster, and that was 3 and change, I think. 2.39. I mean, does it come with a neck brace? I mean, that is incredibly fast.
Yeah, it's got
Patrick, that's nuts.
It's 1 in 3 people I know with a car that fast have wrapped it around something in a parking lot.
Okay, Patrick says 1 in 3 people he knows has a car that fast wrapped it around something in a parking lot. Just spun it out, huh?
Don't do that.
I noticed that all these numbers are just high enough to be higher than what Tesla says. So 78 miles of range, higher than Tesla. Even the $5,000 down is higher than the $1,000 down for the Model 3. Like, it feels like a real interesting game of one-upsmanship, and I think this is really good and healthy. Whether or not it succeeds, whether or not Faraday Future is the next big thing, whether or not Tesla or anyone else has anything to worry about is a whole different argument. But this seems like healthy back and forth to me.
So this is the boutique electric car manufacturer who lost most of its executives this year, doesn't seem to have any money, and probably couldn't get a refund on its CES deposit, so came here to demo anyway, just in case they get miracle venture capital, while Ford is announcing they're investing billions of dollars in electric vehicles because they think they're going mainstream. I'm not feeling real positive about this. I'm just saying.
That was me. I said all that. Thank you.
$5,000 down, folks. They need it.
You know what, though? No matter what happens, this is exactly what Elon said he wanted to have happen, right?
No,
he said,
exactly.
I'm going to make these crazy cars, and I want everybody to get excited. And we turned on the TV a couple times the last couple of days, and all it was about was this Faraday car. I mean, it was like, oh, yeah, CES Faraday car. That's all it was.
At least there's competition.
Yeah, and excitement.
And our next story proves that cars are taking over CES.
That's right. Speaking of Tesla, they're starting making the lithium-ion batteries in conjunction with Panasonic and their factory in Nevada on Wednesday. This is that monster factory. The batteries will first be used in Tesla-powered products, Powerwall products, excuse me. And soon in the Model 3 sedan, at peak production, the Gigafactory is expected to employ 6,500 workers and create between 20,000 and 30,000 additional jobs. That's huge. Tesla announced Tuesday it shipped 76,230 vehicles in 2016. That is just short of their goal of 80K total. I think that's dang close, though. That's pretty impressive.
Clever timing, starting your Nevada Gigafactory going in the middle of CES, don't you think?
Oh, what a coincidence.
But still, there's no way you can work bad news into this. I mean, unless it catches fire or something.
To the Gigafactory, right? Not yet. Yeah.
But I know where it is. It's, if they can get the workers out, they're good.
And then finally, BMW, Intel,
batteries.
and Mobileye have an alliance aimed at putting a fleet of 40 autonomous BMW 7 Series test cars on the road in the second half of the year, starting in the U.S. and then in Europe. Qualcomm is working with Audi, Ericsson, Swarco Traffic Systems, and the University of Kaiserslautern on a new consortium called the Connected Vehicles to Everything of Tomorrow, or CONVEX, with capital V's and X's. Meanwhile, Ford and Toyota have formed the Smart Device Link, or SDL consortium, with several other automakers and parts suppliers. That consortium will open source Toyota's SDL software platform with plans to commercialize it by 2018. Ford says it's going to be all in on SDL, but will continue to support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so it's basically all in on everything.
Yay. There was so much in that.
I have a running wager with someone at my office about when autonomous vehicles are going to sort of be the norm versus like what we currently have, I guess. And like he's gone super short, 2020.
Really?
Like 2020, and I'm sort of more like 2030 or something like that. But you see this stuff coming out every week, almost every day now, as like, we're going to support this, we're doing this, we're testing this. Uber doing this, making our drivers redundant in the next 5 years. Like, it seems to be that
it's accelerating.
Yeah, that was it Boyle's law? Or, no, that's the
hockey stick.
Yeah, it's just we're at that point where everything is going crazy. This autonomous.
And this is the beginning of the platform wars. You're right, Allison. Like, there's so many things in this story that I just read because everybody's saying we've got the platform. Please use ours. Put it in your cars because we want to be the one that everyone uses and make all the money.
And therely be a lot of Betamaxes left over when that's done. Yeah. But the thing that makes me think it's farther away. I really want it tomorrow. I want it. I don't want to drive home. But somebody pointed out to me that if you today said, okay, we have the solution, we are going to make all cars are going to be autonomous starting today, it would be 5 years before you'd get to start doing that. If we already had the solution all worked out, figured out, we were already to go, all the laws were in place, you wouldn't be able to start now. You would start maybe in 5 years. So 2020 might be when the first one rolls off the line and gets to a customer, but you're probably close to around 2030 before it's mainstream.
Yeah.
That makes me sad. But I'd put $5,000 down on one.
You had me at Kaiserslautern, by the way.
From a man who can't pronounce L'Oreal.
Now I feel bad for pointing that out. I always pick it on Scott. He does it. He uses much more high-end hair care products. That's why he doesn't know.
That's what it is.
You guys scrubbing down there in the minor leagues with your L'Oreal. Yeah.
Hey, big thanks to Rich Stroffolino, who's been filling in on Daily Tech Headlines this week and doing a stellar job. If you need to keep up with the tech headlines each day in less than 10 minutes, subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. And that's a look at the top stories. All right. We're going to swap the couch. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Raj. Before you go, though, real quickly, what one thing that we haven't talked about yet caught your eye at CES? Allison, go first.
I always like to pick the weirdest, obscurest thing that you won't ever see, probably. We saw a thing from a company called Acoustic Arts that's with a K instead of a C. It's 216 parabolic speaker coils, little tiny ones, maybe a few maybe a centimeter in diameter, that form a hexagonal speaker, and it's directional. So they're doing beamforming, shaping of phase and amplitude in order to get the audio directly at you. And this won't be sold on its own, but it'll be the kind of thing they could put, say, in a hospital where you want to watch TV, but the poor joker next to you really doesn't want to hear what you're going to hear. And you'd be able to hear those things separately. You could see it, obviously, in home applications to save marriages. But there's a lot of places they could use it. It's a tiny little company. They got 6 people in this company, but they had their game on. It
It's
was
been
really
coming
cool.
for a while too. Did they have any indications of partners or
Yeah,
launch
they
dates?
talked about a bunch of partners. They didn't have launch dates on
Okay.
it, but they did. They were talking to. They're working with other companies.
Yeah, I
'cause
would like to
it would
see
be
that
something
happen.
you'd integrate into it. He brought up like a taxi driver being able to hear all the directions and
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah.
not annoying the people in the car. We annoy each other easily. That was my top #1 pick of all
Don't
of
annoy-
CES.
Raj, what about you?
I want to say the hair regrower, which was on the floor at CES Unveiled last night, but I don't know the name of it, and it's in my mind, a snake oil product. So I'm going to say SpeedX, which is a bicycle manufacturer who last year kickstarted the Leopard. Was a all-in-one sort of carbon fiber frame. I'm a cyclist and I follow professional cycling, so this is interesting to me. And a bike computer built into it. This year they've come out with the Unicorn, which they're kickstarting again, like they did with the Leopard, starting from around $3,000. So it's not the cheapest sort of bike out there, but it has a new computer with touchscreen controls, inbuilt power meter, which is a new feature and a welcome one. And the frame also uses this. It adjusts the seat post 3 mil each way to absorb vibrations when you're cycling along, so making it a smoother ride without losing any power, which can often be the case. So the Unicorn, it's in day 3, I think, of its kickstarting thing. It's already exceeded it by 1,000,000%. But it looks
the
really
most
impressive.
excited people I met on the floor last night. That
Yeah.
guy was amped up about that bike.
I really like it. I've spoken to a couple of cyclist friends. The first one didn't review that well, but this one looks like a huge improvement. Yeah, really excited to see it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, you guys.
Thank you.
Podfeet.com, of course,
Yes.
to check out Allison's works.
That's a great place.
Go there, subscribe, and Raj, where should folks go for you?
Reckoner.com.au. I'm doing a series. This is my first CES, so I'm doing a series called Stories from a CES Version. And it's just sort of taking things as I come and what it's really like being here. So
It's about technology, though. Don't get.
oh yeah, definitely.
Wrong.
Yeah,
About piano players.
yeah, no piano players.
All right. While you guys
All right.
swap out the couch, I'm going to let folks know about some of the things that happened at the LG press conference, and then we'll start talking about them with Patrick and Shannon. The SJ9 4K soundbar. The 4K in a soundbar refers to the lossless bit rate of more than 4,000 kilobits per second, which actually detracts from the fact that this seems like a really good soundbar. It's got Dolby Atmos enabled. Coming in the next few months for $1,500. There's also the W Series 4K TVs that are 2.6 millimeters thick and can be mounted flat against the wall. In fact, you have to mount them flat against the wall. They won't stand up on a stand. A thin cable connects to a Dolby Atmos soundbar that comes with it, so you'll have to put something below it to hold that soundbar, and that has all the HDMI inputs and such if you're wondering where the cables go. There's also a bunch of other televisions that got announced. All LG panels now cover 99% of the DCI-P3 gamut, have 25% higher peak brightness and improved anti-reflectivity, also support active HDR as well as Technicolor's advanced HDR, and HDR10, Dolby Vision, and HGL. They're covering all the HDR protocols. HDL is that one we mentioned Monday. It's kind of a newer one that people are integrating. There's also 55 and 65-inch Crystal Sound OLED panels with sound embedded in the panel, so you don't have a separate speaker. It just comes out of the television itself. No models announced for that, but that's something they were showing on. Before we get to the robots, the laptop, and the phones, though, what do you guys think of LG's TV Play?
I think it's interesting. The thing that really connected with me as far as the LG press conference goes, my favorite thing was the crystal sound display.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's skipping ahead a little bit, but I thought it was kind of
just
fascinating.
mentioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool just because, they're saving space. You're not worrying about crappy speakers at the bottom that nobody's going to use already. So I'm curious how the quality is. And I'm hoping it's better than what you usually see built into TVs.
Yeah, I like the idea. I just want to know
The
how it
idea is
sounds.
cool.
And I'm not a big audiophile, so it doesn't have to sound
He
perfect.
is.
Patrick, on the other hand, you probably will call me a Philistine.
No, I would never call you a Philistine, at least not about this. There's so many other places
There's
we
other
can
good
argue.
reasons for it. Yeah, you should say.
Well, it was weird, right? Because Samsung showed off their new televisions last night, which looked gorgeous, and they were like,
LED ones.
right, and they're like, we have 100% of this color space, and their big thing was like, okay, you jack the brightness all the way up, and we don't lose any color saturation, so you have these, super bright colors and better details in dark sections of the screen, and there's a little fiber optic line and a power cable that runs down from their 1.7 inch thick monitor. The next day, we're all sitting in the audience, and somebody I was talking to was like, I thought they were going to talk about using double stick tape to hold the 2.3 millimeter thick monitor in the wall. Right? Instead, they're using a magnet system, and part of me was like, it's got a little bit of flex to it, and their whole thing is like, you have to be this close to the wall for it to be a truly immersive window-like experience. And I'm like, I got a 100-inch projection screen that's like 18 inches off the wall, and it's pretty immersive. So there's been so much hype and so many announcements. The sound bar underneath that LG, it's like they went, we're doing a sophisticated analysis of bringing consumption into a real-world environment by minimizing intrusion. And then we got the guy that did Kylo Ren's helmet to design our sound bar. And look, there's pop-ups, so it does Dolby Atmos. So
and if you have your own sound bar, you can bypass the one that comes with it, but you can't remove it.
Yeah,
it has to,
because that's where basically the power and
well, that's where your HDMI inputs and everything.
So you're gonna build like it's frustrating, right? Because then you've got people like TCL and Hisense who are like, hey, we're going for Middle America, and we're gonna bring QHD and quantum dot technology to everybody as fast as we can as far as TCL is going. And it's also funny because there's so much positioning. Like there's at least two companies that are like, we're number 3. And then the other guy's like, we're number 3. And you're just sitting here and going like, you're
all pretty.
Yeah, well, it's like I expect David Attenborough, the Chinese manufacturer is now going to display posture in an attempt to capture the North American television market. It's just weird watching all this stuff play out.
Let's get to the robots. Robot-wise, LG showed off the Hub and Hub Mini. They're not exactly robots. They're basically Amazon Echoes with faces that control smart home devices, play music, etc. AirBot is one that does move around a lot. It will guide you in the airport, coming to Incheon Airport in Seoul later this year. LG also added Amazon Voice Services to its WebOS-powered InstaView door-indoor refrigerator. So you can, instead of having a dash button, just tell your refrigerator reorder your things.
This is so funny.
Samsung has a computer built into the door of the refrigerator. We must have a computer built into the door of the refrigerator.
I just can't wait to hack all of these things. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. Keep in mind, LG just announced that they took the people who made Palm Pilot's operating system and put it in a door with a voice system from the people who used to deliver you books. Just some historical perspective.
It's going to be so smooth. I mean,
Amazon Voice Services works really well. That part actually could make some sense. I could see it playing out. I don't need a smart fridge otherwise. The question always is, and has been at CES since 1990s, is this the smart fridge that people finally find a need for?
It's going to have to be at the right cost, because if it's not, people aren't going to buy it until their current fridge dies out. And I know all about that from my past week, which has been terrible as far as fridges
Your fridge
go.
break?
Yes, it broke right before CES. Terrible timing.
It's one of those conveniences you forget that when it breaks, you've got to find a place for all this food temporarily until you get a solution. It is kind of the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so the only way that I can see like this really happening on a wide scale for consumers is if it's cheap enough that they can go out and buy it when it's an emergency, because nobody's going to buy a fridge unless you're getting a new house and it doesn't come with that appliance already, or your thing breaks. Yeah. And that's about it.
Or your children start eating more and you suddenly realize your refrigerator is too small. Well,
and then you need a smart fridge.
I was chatting with Kyle Wiens from iFixit last night and some of the crew from The Wirecutter, and that was one of the things that came up as a discussion was there's all this intelligence and all of this computerization going into appliances, which seems to be dramatically reducing the lifespan of the appliances, which may be wonderful for the large consumer electronics companies, but really pisses off everybody. That's like you're looking at a $3,000, $5,000 refrigerator. Yeah. Not me, but for one with a big shiny panel in the door that gives you semi-useful information until they stop updating the software.
And when that breaks or the software stops becoming useful, then you've just got a refrigerator with a broken panel. In it for years. I mean that will, if these were to catch on, that would be the future college room rental. Yeah. Is like the broken smart fridge that still cools. It just doesn't have any of this much.
Just put a magnetic mount for a tablet on the fridge.
There's a whole third-party accessory market. Right
they can't keep television operating systems update, and they're selling a lot more televisions than they are refrigerators. Yeah. That's my thing. I mean,
well, and I have heard a lot of people talking about future-proofing the internals of their television to make sure that they
Roku.
Yeah.
I did want to mention with robots too, like we're seeing so many different companies come out with these, and while I don't think that 2017 is going to be the year of the like home assisted robot that moves around your house and does stuff,
Like the
other than like a
Curie or
robot.
the Yumi.
Yeah, I don't think it's the year for that, but I think that we're beginning to see that trend, and we'll see it really like hardcore in a few years when the prices drop and there's manufacturing going on for a lot of different companies and there's a lot more competition. And I love seeing big name companies like LG and other ones doing this because, we're already seeing those kind of things happening in Tokyo, for example, like in malls and places like that.
Yeah.
So to bring it to a consumer market is going to be really, really cool. But I just don't feel like it's there quite yet.
Everybody's trying to claim they have the lightest laptop by putting various modifiers in front of it, but the lightest 14-inch laptop is the LG Gram, and it still is. The 2.16-pound laptop isn't getting heavier, but it is finally getting decent battery life. That was the knock on the LG Gram last year. So they announced a new one, 21 hours of battery life on a charge. No price or availability on that. And the LG mid-range phones, the K-Series and LG Stylus 3 were announced. They add better cameras, bigger batteries, and some come now with fingerprint sensors, no price or release date.
Fingerprint sensors.
Yep, easy for me to say.
No price or release date was a big theme in the last.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too. It's
36 hours.
It's always true at CES, but it struck
It's
me as
worse
being-
this year. It just feels so much worse.
Well, Patrick,
All right, Scott,
why is that? I'm curious. What do you think the reason is? Is it just they're just not ready? Is CES too the
Maybe
holiday?
they're trying to sell out the channel before they got the channel sales by giving exact dates for the new thing arriving. I don't know.
Some more
Maybe
flexibility.
they don't want to pull a Note 7?
Maybe they want to have their own announcements that pretend they're Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
I don't think
relative.
anybody wants to pretend to be Apple this year.
Not this year. Panasonic and Qualcomm announced their IVI, aka in-vehicle infotainment, the worst acronym I've seen so far this year. It's Android Nougat based, but not Android Auto, though Google is involved in the project. So it's a little confusing what's actually going on, but it's running on Android Nougat. Combines a Snapdragon 820 AM automotive processor with Adreno 530 graphics, 680 DSP, and a high-speed LTE modem. Automakers can customize it as a factory OEM. And here's an example of Panasonic hoping to future-proof something because they're like, yeah, we know you're not going to change your car out every 2 years, unless you're leasing, I guess. But this way, it should last for a couple of generations.
As long as they keep updating it.
That's their hope, yeah.
Nougat.
Nougat.
Aluminium
Australia.
nougat.
Well, when I get to the Nissan story, I'll also say that for you as well. Panasonic announced more details on the Lumix GH5 camera. It's 13% larger than the GH4, has a full-size HDMI port. It's freeze-proof, in other words, cold-proof, along with dust and splash-proof. Micro Four Thirds sensor now has 20.3 megapixels, and it features 5-axis in-body image stabilization. It can do 4K video at up to 60 frames per second. That's the big thing everybody seems to be impressed with. And it can also do 1080p at 180 frames per second. Body cost $1,999.
Just say 2,000. It's easier.
a lot of money. Coming in late March. Panasonic also announced the Lumix FZ80 and the Lumix GX850. I'm sorry, FZ80 and GX850. A set of mid-tier cameras that'll cost $400 and $500 a piece.
Yay! I love seeing new cameras coming on the market, especially one that can do 4K at 60. And yes, it is a big deal because a lot of cameras that are available right now do 4K with 30 FPS, which is okay and it looks great. But 60 is like you can see a huge quality difference if you look at them side by side. The problem that you run into a lot with like editing and podcasting and stuff like that is where can you upload it that people can actually watch it in 4K at 60?
I'm going to interject here because this is one of the most hotly anticipated cameras for camera nerds, the GH5. Because up until now, it's all been Sony because Sony has the big sensors. Their glass is okay. It's super expensive for what you get, but it's a sensor. And everyone's going gaga. The GH5, if it does what the little brochure says in the real world, and I'm sure thousands of people want to get their hand on it, it could be a huge boost for Panasonic in the camera market, which in itself is diminishing because people are just taking photos with their cameras.
$2,000 for that kind of camera is a great price point, especially when you look at Sony, like you mentioned, Roger. Like Sony's nice cameras are in the $3,000 price range. So you get one for $2,000. That's awesome.
It's still
Especially if
body
the lenses
only,
are
but
cheaper,
still,
too.
yeah. You can buy the cheaper lenses, maybe.
Maybe.
Panasonic also announced a new edition of its Technics turntable. Remember, it revived the Technics brand last year at CES. This one is the SL1200GR. The direct drive eliminates clogging. There's new resonance deadening rubber on the platter, among other tweaks. There's also the 44-inch tall floor-standing SBG90 speakers with dual 6.5-inch woofers, a 6.5-inch mid-range cone, and 1-inch dome tweeter with a frequency response range of 27 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz at 16 decibels and 4 ohms. That only means anything to you geeks, but it means a lot of things to you home theater geeks. And to complete this 1970s era sounding announcement, the reference class SUG 700 amp in an all aluminum case with analog needle meters, high-speed silent hybrid power supply, and load adaptive phase calibration. It also, on the back, where you can't be pulled out of your 1970s dream, has USB-B, digital coax and digital optical inputs and outputs, and Chromecast audio built in. Amp tops out at 140 watts at 4 ohms and 70 watts at 8 ohms. No price or release date, though.
They're going for the audiophile nerds, at least with that amplifier. The Technics turntable will be curious to see. I mean, I think of that, and I think of like Wheels of Steel and DJs.
Yeah. Oh no, the Technics was de rigueur for all the radio stations I've ever worked at.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's gonna there's so many speaker announcements coming that we're not going to hear anything about until the Venetian opens tomorrow, from all of the speaker manufacturers. I'm just going to reserve judgment until I've gotten to hear a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But that big chunky volume knob, Scott.
Oh, dude, that stuff's awesome, right? Like, I think a lot of people, when they heard they were sort of reviving the Techniques and saying, "Yeah, turntables aren't dead yet," is maybe proof that there are enough audiophiles into retro hardware, and kind of the idea that still, vinyl sounds the best, that they're banking on it in a way that is really fun to watch. So I have zero interest in this product, like none whatsoever, but I am so glad it exists.
I mean, that SUG 700 amp, part of the reason they're doing that is because there is a huge aftermarket in eBay and Craigslist and all sorts of particular audio websites where people are like, I want that 70s. Those 70s amplifiers are actually, in many cases, selling for 2 or 3 times what they paid for in 19... People think they have a certain sound or the style they particularly like. And so that's also a total of we're targeting the millennials and the boomers and anybody who misses like the giant volume knob or the tuning knob would be the other classic 1970s feature.
Let's finish off with Hisense. Hisense announced a 100-inch 4K HDR laser TV. The laser means it uses a short throw laser projector to hit an included screen. So you don't buy your own screen and set it up. It's not a projector, except in that it is a projector, but it's all in one. Combined with a 5.1 sound, all for only $13,000. If that's slightly too expensive for you, there's also the 4K HDR H10D series. Has quantum dot wide color gamut, full array local dimming. Comes in 70 and 75-inch models starting at $3,499 this summer. Price and release date there.
Wow.
The H9 series is about the same, but no quantum dot. 50, 55, and 65-inch versions starting at $699 in March. Now we've gone way back down. 4K HDR H8D series has wide color gamut support in both 75 and 86-inch variations and features DLED local dimming and motion 120. The H7 series starts at $399 for 43-inch models, up to $899 for the 65-inch and 75-inch R8 and 43 to 65-inch R6 4K HDR Roku TVs were announced as well. Finally, Hisense is going to offer soundbars for the first time, ranging from $79 up to $300 for full 5.1 surround.
So literally half of this information was announced 45 minutes into the press conference, about 2 minutes after I ran out of the Hisense press conference to come here. They apparently, so Hisense is like, I think, the biggest Chinese TV manufacturer, and then they've got like 40% of the market over 70 inches. Their laser TV, has been around for a while in China. They're going to finally bring it to the United States. There's a weird we bought the Shure factory and we've been investigating quantum dot technology for quite some time, and we admit that it will be important to replace LED, which is a mature technology, but they really think lasers. It's all about the lasers, and they look good. I'd really like to hear. I haven't seen anybody who's actually had a chance to test one in the United States, so I'm curious. They may be used in China. Will they play here? $13,000 is a metric ton of money. even for a short throw projector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100 inches and it's a short throw projector. But that's still a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's that's not a high volume product.
That said, like 4K, you can't really buy a 4K projector right now for less than $10,000. So a short throw 4K projector with decent color and luminance and Dolby Video support, that would be a big deal, or at least currently a reasonable price for that.
You're gonna pick one up, Scott?
No. I'll say this though, like my brother-in-law's got a how many inch screen in his basement, and I could easily see him doing this as a potential replacement for what he has now, because he wants to upgrade, he wants to get out of 1080p, and I don't think he'd see this as that much, because it requires a whole lot less to do. He can just basically move this thing in place of what he's got, and he's got his TV, and he's got all the advanced features that he's looking for. So I actually think there might be a market for those who are now seeing their home theater systems are starting to age a little bit, and they did a big custom job in the first place, and this is maybe the cheaper way to go.
All right. As we are speaking, the Toyota conference is going on right downstairs, and the big thing that's coming out that all the blogs are writing up at the moment is the Concept I vehicle, which is a concept vehicle, not a production model, but it's got futuristic design, aerodynamic shape, all that stuff. But the big thing is the artificial intelligence built-in named UE, designed to learn and grow with the driver. So Toyota's been doing a lot with AI in automotive, and this is their big announcement of like, okay, here's all of that stuff we've been talking about. Here's what we're going to do with it. There's a visual representation of UE designed to communicate across cultures to a global audience, says Toyota. With UE's home-centered on the dashboard, Concept I's interior emanates around the driver and passenger side and throughout the vehicle in sweeping lines and blah, blah, blah. UE's ability to use light, sound, and even touch to communicate critical information. So basically what they're doing is trying to create a friendly interface for your in-dash experience, and one that learns about you and can adjust the car appropriately.
You don't really want to go to the convenience store, Tom. You want to go get vegetables.
Yeah, so it's like Amazon Voice Services or Siri or something like that.
Tom, you should go exercise now.
Let me into the car, Yui.
You should walk, Tom. It's less than a mile.
It even appears on exterior door panels to greet you as you approach the vehicle.
Back off, Tom. You need your exercise.
You also haven't brushed your teeth or
Yeah.
brushed your hair.
You also haven't brushed your teeth or brushed your hair.
You can't go out like that. I will not.
We are entering a new era of concept car, right? Like, we're getting into a place where it's no longer just how sleek and smooth and futuristic the car looks. It's about what is it doing for me outside of just driving me places or me driving it somewhere. That's pretty exciting, and I don't feel like we've seen enough of that yet. So I suspect the next few years of car shows in Detroit and otherwise will end up being a lot more of this kind of thing. Yeah. And a lot less of, look at the sleek lines on the new Thunderbird.
Dude, look at this. The rear of the vehicle shows messages to communicate about upcoming turns or potential hazards to the car behind it.
I kind of like that.
That's kind of cool.
I kind of like that. Can I hack those messages to say other things like, you're tailgating me?
You will.
You're tailgating me.
It's one thing I've noticed. A lot of these intelligent products have one thing in common. They nag you. It's really just a 21st century of nagging you to do stuff. Go get milk. You're running out of milk. Go get bread. Go do your laundry. Your laundry's dirty. You haven't washed it yet. Everything here is replacing a maternal or paternal influence in your life. Oh, you should use your turn signal when you make a right turn. It's like, no.
Well, it's because these 20-something guys are running these companies. They're the ones that are creating all these products.
It's not just, but it's also companies targeting the 20s, like the millennials that are like. But it's. I mean, we saw something a couple of years ago where it was like the Nubistog rabbit, except it was this horrible little thing that basically was the artificial mother. And I was just, it's just the worst possible version of the sort of the nanny state is having a device in your home that can follow you around and whinge at you because you can't complete a list.
The features of UE are good. I like all the features. Yeah. I think what Roger's reacting to is the personality of like, I'll take care of everything for you.
But that's also what they're selling.
Multiple personalities. You can have like a gruff New York cab driver personality instead of you.
But I mean, like whether it sounds like my wrestling coach or the AI from her. But I'm with Roger. It's still like, you didn't learn how to fold laundry. It's okay. Spend $700.
I want the
Actually,
car to be able to tell me, like, hey, that guy's driving weird. We're going to pull back. There's a curve coming up. Like, that's all good stuff. I want to have that information.
by the time the car can do that, I just want to sit in the car and wake up 9 hours later
that's where it's
in the
going.
middle of some
Toyota's
beautiful park.
pointing UE at being the autonomous car operating system.
Oh,
Dead
man.
nags you as a passenger.
What? You're slouching. Sit up, Roger.
Sit up straight in your autonomous car. Hey, tomorrow on the show, we'll discuss the announcements from this evening's CES press announcements, maybe some more from Toyota, Samsung, Hyundai, Intel, Sony, NVIDIA, the digital experience showcase this evening that we'll all be going to. And thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. Let us know which of all of these things you're interested in. You can go participate in that at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Before we go out of here, do each of you have something we haven't mentioned yet that you noticed that you wanted to talk about?
You probably mentioned it yesterday, but I'm still fascinated by the minivan for millennials. Fiat.
We did not talk about
Okay,
it.
so Fiat Chrysler America, like, they have like the opening keynote at the the new super first day at CES, and it's like, here's Fortune magazine. Fiat Chrysler's new concept car aims to win over millennials of any age. And other people are like, it's a minivan, but for millennials, and it's electric, and the doors slide forward and back. And
What
there's,
makes it for millennials again?
I don't know, because they're desperate to sell to millennials. There's been a lot of millennial targeting in the last 24 hours.
It's a thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. I don't know how well some of these companies are doing it, but they certainly desperately want the millennials to buy the stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Shannon, what about you?
I saw a lot of stuff that you normally see at CES, like smart cat things and smart dog things and smart health
Self-cleaning
things.
litter boxes.
Yes, exactly. So mine is very random. It's called the Shadecraft, and while I haven't seen the actual product, I saw a video of it, and I was able to talk to one of the PR people about it. But we should see it either tonight or at PepCom, and it's basically a shade for your back patio, and it's very, very large, so it can cover a very large space. But it has solar panels on it, so it's totally powered on its own, so you never have to go in your backyard and open it up yourself. It has all the normal like proofing that you would have, weatherproofing and all that stuff, but it also has smarts built in, so there's an application that you can run and it will automatically change the shade path depending on where the sun is.
Nice.
As it moves during the day, so it'll move for you and you don't have to get up and change it yourself. And it has a 360 panoramic camera built in, so you can like check the security of your backyard.
the squirrels are in the begonias again.
The thing I love about this is because like it's so ridiculous. So I was just like, oh well, is it going to be like capable with my current IoT devices? Is it going to be like Smart Hub or IFTTT? And the chick's like, yeah, we thought of that too. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
So, but the thing is, it's like $2,000. But when you think about it, if you go to Pottery Barn or one of those fancy places, you want to buy a big shade for your backyard, and it's going to be $1,000 already. So you stick in all these. Oh yeah, it has speakers too. That's right, Bluetooth speakers. They literally thought of everything with this thing. It's so ridiculous. And of course, I was like, well, what's the security like? And she was just like, I don't know. And I was like, TLS, SSL, do you know? No.
We didn't think of
Don't know.
everything, apparently. Yeah.
So we shall see how secure it is. But yeah, that would be my pick for ridiculous things at CES.
Scott, have you seen anything just watching from afar that's caught your eye? I'm just curious.
What's really interesting to me is what we haven't heard yet. I want to know what the digital experience showcase is tonight. It's one of my favorite bits every year in terms of what I glean from it. I'm specifically very curious about what NVIDIA is doing in the next year and 2 years. Maybe. They're in a weird place right now. They've got kind of a stranglehold in some of their markets and have been real limp in the places they've tried to enter in the last 18 months or so. So I'm very curious about what their direction is, what their plan is, what partnerships they announce. As a pretty avid gamer, that makes that gets me excited on that level. But just overall, what does a company like NVIDIA become in the next 5 years? What do they help power? Where are they in mobile? What are they doing with autonomous cars? What are they powering with their chips? Like that kind of stuff, I think is super interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
I predict they've backburnered mobile, and they're going to be hitting really, really mention 3D gaming other than to point out that, hey, we're taking names and kicking ass.
Autonomous cars and machine learning. That's a good bet to hear from them. Yeah. All right. Well, before you guys go, you're both tech thing. So we can
we do a show together.
TEKTHING.com.
Anything else to tell folks about, Shannon?
That's about it. Oh, I do this other podcast. It's called Hack5, HAK5.org, and that one's about hacking. Tech Thing is about consumer tech.
And Threatwire is the other podcast you do.
Oh, yeah, I do that too. It's called Threatwire, and you can find that at Hack5 too.
And Patrick?
And I'm also going to try to get Robert Heron intoxicated later this weekend to record AVXL, because there's nothing more awesome than listening to Robert argue about color spaces while slightly tipsy. I'm just saying, it's a spectacle.
That sounds awesome.
AVXL.com. He's going to be arguing over it. Thin film is done!
Excellent. I can't wait for that episode. All of those are available at hak5.org.
Yes,
right?
they are.
Yeah, go check it out. Big thanks to all the folks who make it possible for us to travel here, do the show, bring it to you every day. dailytechnewsshow.com/support is the place where all of the funding that makes this show happen comes from, whether it's PayPal or buying things in our store or patreon.com/DTNS. Big thanks to patrons like Stephen McKean, Graham Isbister, and James Meyer. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday, usually at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, though tomorrow it will be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Pacific at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv, and our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. Justin Robert Young, tomorrow, 6:30 p. Eastern. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
And scene.
Ah, that worked.
Yay!
Woo! A few bumps in the road on my part, but otherwise it was great. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
All right, titles. CES kicks off.
Yeah, no problem. That was great. Yeah, what do we got for titles there, Roger?
CES kicks off. Tesla releases Faraday from its cage. The paw of Patrick Norton.
The paw.
50 states of Facebook, because I made a reference to Patrick's hand getting in the shot.
Yes.
The Internet of Nagging. Daily Tech Photo Bomb, but Faraday goes to 11.
Yeah, let's just say right now that we're not going to use any of the ones that refer to inside jokes that happened if you're not paying attention to the news.
Okay. 2 turntables and 4 microphones. Allison lurks with eyes. Smart nagging. Oh, I actually like that one. Allison is too social.
It's getting weirder. The dumbest hairbrush you'll never buy.
I say let people keep voting, because CES Kicks Off is still tops.
CES Kicks Off is what I have in the YouTube thing, so we could just go with that. Almost forgot to level 8.
Forgot to level 8.
It's a level 8.
Yeah, I'm not looking at show.tv. What are the top contenders?
CES Kicks Off. The paw of Patrick Norton, and Tesla releases Faraday from its.
We're not using the paw of Patrick Norton.
You just asked me. You asked me what's leading.
No, I wanted your opinion. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yes, it is.
I prefer the Internet of Nagging, because that's what it all sounds like.
Of course you do.
Because that's what CES sounds. Oh, let me take you to Smart Fridge. Nag, nag, nag. Smart Bidet. Nag, nag, nag. You should eat more fiber.
Nag, nag, nag.
But Daily Tech News Show. Nag, nag, nag.
Nag, nag, nag. The best tag, nag, nag, nag.
Use encryption. Make sure you log out of your security sessions. Don't use public Wi-Fi.
Nag, nag, nag.
Yeah.
I don't feel as nagged by these things, I guess.
All right,
I don't know why.
Okay. CES Kicks Off would be my second.
Yeah, let's just do that. CES Kicks Off. That works.
Although the paw of Patrick Norton is pretty up there.
Yeah, but if you just listen to the audio podcast, that's not going to make any sense, is it?
No, but you'll get a giggle.
Will you?
Paw and Patrick Norton go together like peanut butter and chocolate.
Scott, thank you, by the way. It looks like everything worked on this end.
Oh, good. I'll save this in case anything happens, but I'll have it kind of backed up.
But thank you for making up for my my amnesiac forgetting of my soundboard.
No worries. And thank you for helping me get past L'Oreal and disappearing news item. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. So what did happen to that? That was the only bump in the road. There was like something disappeared. Was that? Did you
It
actually?
had to have been when I saw. So at one point during one of my reads, something went poof, and my eyes were like, "Whoa!" Everything shifted up like immediately. So I went up to see the one that I was reading, and I think it must have been whatever that was between then got taken out.
Yeah, what got deleted? Somehow, one got deleted, and then they started getting pasted in the wrong place.
Yeah, I didn't do any pasting, so I don't know.
I was moving things around because while I was reading one and one got deleted, you went to one that was farther down. So then I'm like, oh, well, now we need to adjust, and I think that made the confusion worse.
I think there might have just been a lag because it noticed that was like you did something, but it didn't reflect on anyone else looking at it for another second or two.
Yeah,
that might have been it. Yeah, it just I was hands free when it happened, and I thought, oh no, what have I done? And I couldn't figure out what I was looking at, and yeah, it made for a pretty funny moment though. So I'm not going to say it was all bad. It was pretty good.
And then I couldn't remember which TCL one you had read.
Right. Turns out it was both.
Had you read them both? See, I got too distracted.
Yeah, no, he read them both. He read them both, and then you mentioned that you didn't cover it. He went back and redid them again.
I screwed that up.
Oh, everyone's to blame. Everyone's to blame.
No blames.
And it was fun.
No, it was good. It was a good show.
Yeah, it made me laugh. So
as long as we can laugh, that's all that matters.
That's all that really matters.
Really, at the end of the day, that's all we have, our laughter.
Yeah, whether Scott laughs or not.
They're having secret conversations over there.
Yeah, I hear some chatter.
And Shannon's playing Pokemon.
They're discussing the size of Patrick's paw.
You know what they say about the size of a man's father?
That's right.
His paw.
Yes, his PAW.
All right, exporting. Just to make things easier, I'm probably going to end our video stream now. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back again tomorrow. Everybody say bye.
Bye.